Located on Route 45 and Highway 120, the Country Square was known for fine food and old-school elegance in a former mansion, attracting locals, celebrities, and politicians since opening in 1954. The mansion included 17 rooms, 8 washrooms, and 4 fireplaces. Martin and Edna Giesel opened the Country Square as a restaurant in 1954. William Govas then acquired the restaurant from 1977 to 2013. Gus and Crystal Govas took over ownership after their dad's passing in 2008. The lot was recently purchased by Northwestern Lake Forest Hospital for possible future expansion of its facility.
It wasn't only Grayslake residents who enjoyed the historical and elegant restaurant. The Country Squire had a reputation of bringing in famous people from all over to enjoy the amazing food they had to offer. Some of these famous people include former Bears head coach Mike Ditka, poet Carl Sandburg, actors Marlon Brando and Gary Coleman, and actress and swimmer Esther Williams.
All right, so during your time when you went to the Country Squire, what was the interior like?
Well, it was very beautiful. It's like an old supper club, like of like the 30s and 40s and everything. There are a lot of different rooms, okay? There are some banquet rooms, but just very, very nice decor. Just the way I describe it, like with the white tablecloths, like pressed one, wooden ones, just classy. Overall, just really, really classy, and like some chandeliers in different rooms coming down. It's just really a classy environment.
What was your experience like when you went there?
So the first time I went there, I was, I don't know, like 6 or 7, and my mom's aunt and uncle took me to this place. Like, I lived in Palatine, and they were from, I think, like Berwyn, so it's like an hour drive. Like, you went there because this was a classy place that people went to in Northern Lake County, and it was far, but people all over, like, knew the Country Squire. Like, just really, really nice. Like, you went there for a classy dinner, you got dressed up and everything, and it was like you were at a place like, this is a big deal to be here.
Yes. How was the Country Squire important to Grayslake?
You know what? It was like the place to be. Like, there would be like meetings and groups and stuff like that. That would go to different places. But like when there was a big event, like you had to get the Country Squire, and they knew it because you paid a lot to go there and everything. It was like the place to go. Like if something was important, like and you really wanted to make a statement, you'd be at the Country Squire.
When you went to the Country Squire, what was your favorite thing about it?
I'll tell you the favorite thing that ever happened there. On the 3rd year of PSP, we hosted a fashion show there. Okay, with this whole runway, we got all these. We got, I think, Macy's and Carson's to give us all these clothes, and it was a fashion show for adults. So the students all modeled it and everything, but then adults were there and they could actually buy the clothes right then and there. It was awesome and everything, and they just made it like it was a classy place. Like some people came in limos and things, and it was like it was just fancy and classy.
Seeing how much you enjoyed the Country Squire, how did you feel when it was torn down?
You know what? It was. It's kind of like Grayslake lost a little something. It's like it was like a place like that. Like it was something like before I even knew Grayslake. Like it was like the Country Squire, and like in those days, like Rockenbach Chevrolet was the big deal and everything. And like those were the two things in Grayslake, Rockenbach and the Country Squire. And so I think that's like it's a big deal. Like people came from all over to go to the Country Squire, so I think it meant a lot, and it was a destination place. I mean, big weddings and big events. I mean, that was like a place to go. So I think it loses a lot because I think it brought people to the area, and it was known for something. It was like an institution.
Right, well,
I'd almost say it was like the classy version of like Fred's. Like people know Fred's, people know Tasty Freeze. The Country Squire is a big deal.
Alright, well, that's all the questions I have.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's easy to see how the Country Squire influenced the people of Grayslake. Upon hearing about the closure of the famous restaurant, many people were disappointed to see the beloved building go. It's very disappointing and a bit surprising, said Karen Christian Smith, director of the Grayslake Area Chamber of Commerce. We always get a lot of calls for a place to have a business lunch, and that was the Country Squire. It's just too bad. Another Grayslake resident, Pastor Chris Birkin, expresses his disappointment. I'm shocked, disappointed, speechless, Firkin said upon hearing the news. They didn't tell us anything.
The Country Squire played a big role in many important events throughout Grayslake. From hosting proms to weddings to simple meetings, the Country Squire was the place to be. It created a new atmosphere in Grayslake and created many memories for people all over the state. The Country Squire was the place to be and for everything and was truly missed as a big part of Grayslake.